It's no trouble. All about the bass, no trouble. Gotta write my timestamps, write my timestamps, or I'm in trouble. I must write my timestamps, or I'm in trouble. Talking about the Friday the 13th alignment with the Cazimi in Virgo and 21 to 22 degrees of Virgo. And then Virgo, 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 Virgo. Waiting for my tea to cool, my tea to cool. Gotta have my tea cool, my tea cool. Oh, yeah. Yeah, but oh, since you're here, I can explain to you what Eclipse Channel is. So I'm sure you've seen like a lot of the like famous streamers and stuff, like iShow Speed and like Aiden Ross and all them. But yeah, but essentially what a what a Eclipse Channel is basically you find like a streamer or some really just anybody. Like there's a lot of clips of like Joe Rogan, like I'm sure you've seen all over all the platforms and stuff. But basically what's going on with that is you essentially get like clips that you think will go viral. No. You get clips that you think will go viral and then you just post them on another channel. And honestly, like a lot of people actually get paid from that. So yeah, if you want to like get you or you were whatchamacallit. You were who is it? What's her name? Yeah. You, Celeste, or Annie. If you guys want to like make a just like cut clips and just like make a whole separate channel on all platforms of like me talking crazy about astrology, yeah, that's pretty much what it is. Yeah. King Edits, I don't know you. If you become cool in the future, yeah, sure, you can have a ranch. But right now, no. So yeah, so that's pretty much the vibes on that. Now let me get my notes together and write down my little timestamps, and then we'll get warmed up and started. You want the screwdriver? That's funny. But yeah, we're talking about whatchamacallit. Yeah, we're talking about the upcoming Cazimi in Virgo in 21 to 22 degrees of Virgo. Let me get my thing. The old lady walking her cat. Okay. Yeah, that's cool. I love how you put the Aries symbol for Virgo. you got some stuff to learn, boy. Bro, what are you saying? Oh, okay. Well, there you go. Intro. Taurus. We were gonna get the whatchamacallit. What about me? I'm writing down my alignments, but you're gonna get the first reading, so that's cool. Yo, he's gooning. That's what's up. Yeah, everybody double tap that screen and spam the like button for me. Okay. Thank you. Alrighty, so basically what we got going on is we have a Cazimi coming up. A Cazimi is anytime we have a alignment or a direct conjunction with the sun, which means a planet and the sun go like this, you know? So basically what that is an opportunity to gain clarity over something, right? People typically like Cazimis when Mercury's retrograde, because it often gives them a respite or a break from Mercury retrograde in some way, shape, or form. So when we have a Cazimi with Mercury, we're getting, you know, Mercury purified by the sun's core. So a lot of things are getting burned off, right? So it's kind of like when you say, get out of my room, mom, and then your dad comes up and he's going to either, you know, hit you with that BTA, belt to ass, and then your room magically becomes very clean through the threat of violence, right? Because it's going to, you know, you're going to get burned or be something in some way, right? So it's a similar vibe, however, it's more cosmic. So it's a bit different in terms of how it actually shows up in your life, because when it comes with the sun and Mercury, and we'll get more specific when we get to the all signs reading of how it directly affects everyone, essentially what we're dealing with here is the energy of you getting the way you articulate and look at the energy of Virgo and whatever house you have it in differently, right? So you get much more precise. You have a bit more clarity on the subject matter, right? So that's kind of like what a Cazimi does, right? And when it comes to the Virgo tone, we're dealing with a lot of precision, repair, workflow, crafting systems, and like becoming a deeper understanding of what's going on, right? So when that's the case and we come to the fixed star behind it, which is Denebola, and we'll do a whole other section on that, that adds a different layer of like an elegant precision, right? So I don't know if you've seen like the dude, the Stad guy on the YouTubes or just like any social media platform, but it's kind of like that essence where you have that element of class about you. You have that element of precision. You have that element of just alignment of where you can actually just sit back, understand, and really take a step back in terms of like just how you interact with this, how you see what's going on, right? But one of the main things that I want to talk about with this is the essence of what is it? The essence of how this is the point of clarity after the eclipse, right? So we just had the eclipse. We had the eclipse in 15 degrees and 24 minutes of Pisces, which angled the fixed star known as Ashenar, or the end of the Eridanus constellation. And essentially what that is a lot of like karmic retribution, subconscious release, relieving yourself of any emotional connections or karmic ties that you didn't exactly want, right? So if this is like you have a friendship that ain't been hitting for a while, you released it. If you had like some connection to just really any noun variety of things, person, place, or thing, you may have released it very subtly and not even recognized it. So there's just this essence of connection that isn't exactly like in the world anymore, right? And you just released it in some way, shape, or form. A lot of people don't know what it is. Obviously, water signs probably know what it is, but not necessarily everybody know what it is. So it's you know, it's an opportunity. It's a point in time where you can recognize what's going on, you can release it, and you can move on, right? And more or less, this Friday the 13th alignment that we're talking about right now is an opportunity for you to really just sit back and observe what it is. Don't make a big fuss about it and move on with your life, right? So it's kind of like the whole point of astrology is for you to understand the essence of timing and what's aligned and whether you're gonna have resistance and stuff like that. So it's just like learning how to spend your time the best, learning how to vibe the best, learning how to just be in a space where you can just sit back, release, and understand what's going on, right? So when it comes to that, oh, Friday the 12th. Oh, my bad. I got it backwards. I don't know what day it is. Oh, yeah. Never mind. So it's Saturday. My bad. I'll change that in the title real quick. I got my dates backwards. Thank you for correcting me. I mean, it still kind of applies, but, you know, I gotta be precise. I talk a lot of shit about being precise. But, anyways, so with that being said, it's kind of an alignment that's supposed to bring clarity because it's like, it's not directly opposite the eclipse energy, but it's pretty close. Like, it's within 5 degrees, 6 degrees. So, it's cool, but it's not necessarily like, it's not like a direct opposition. It's just showing you, like, when you move on and you have a specific opportunity, this is what it will yield. This is what it will create. This is the opportunity that it's making, all right? So with that being said, essentially what's going on with this is it will show you, like, I don't know. I mean, I can't really give a generic answer of what it will show you outside of, like, something that's, like, broad and kind of meta and not a specific thing. Yo, what? That was funny. But essentially what's going on. Damn, I just made you. Essentially what's going on with that energy of the Cazimi is it's like everybody is getting clarity on the aspect of themselves that observe the eclipse. So it's kind of like if you have like a bug in your computer and your brain's a little boggled, it essentially is an opportunity for you to really just get more precise on that and really understand what's going on. Whatchamacallit, what are you saying? Essentially get like more precise on the energy of just how you observe your subconscious mind whatsoever, right? So when it comes to the energy of clarity, yeah, whatever, bro. So essentially when you get to the clarity aspect of it, it's about understanding the mental models that you have to observe whatever you're going through and understanding the power behind the essence of just what subconsciously occurred, right? So it's just like you have more space, you have more clarity, you have more opportunity, you have more energy, you have more essence and kind of like emotional capacity to really just do what you want to do, right? And what this Cazimi is showing you is how to hold space. It's showing you how to have restraint. It's showing you how to have poise in terms of moving forward in your life towards what you want without all the extra noise and nonsense. Speaking of extra noise and nonsense, oh, whoa, someone on YouTube had something uneventful to say in the comments. Not surprised. But yeah, so essentially like with this Virgo alignment, it's kind of deep in terms of like what it does, how it affects you in like a direct way. Once again, it's gonna be the all signs reading. We're gonna get more into it in terms of whatchamacallit. We're gonna get more into it in terms of when we talk about the fixed stars, but as of right now, when it comes to the Virgo essence and Virgo tone, it's all about like the later degrees of cultivating a system and understanding where you're wanted, where you're needed, and where you actually have the energy of respect for what's going on, right? So with that being said, it's a pretty good opportunity if you don't know how the eclipse affected you already. because it's essentially giving you like an accountant's review of your emotional and energetic awareness on the subject matter of how you can be realigned towards your purpose and what the eclipse has to offer you, right? So with that being said, it's a pretty good opportunity. Like, a lot of people will not do the mental work necessary to make it happen. Essentially what's going on with like this energy is it's good, but it's kind of requiring you to do the work and recognize what's going on, right? Yeah, I would agree in terms of like showing your shadow. I wouldn't really call it facing your demons necessarily. That was kind of on the eclipse. This is more or less the opportunity of like, you went through something, now understand why you went through something, right? So it's cool in that way, but it's like doing the mental work and doing the energy to essentially just understand what's going on with yeah, if you could spam that and then spam the emojis too, that'd be cool. But yeah, if you can understand what's going on in regards to like the mental models, that's an opportunity to basically just open yourself up and recognize like why you're going through this, right? Because a lot of this alignment is based in what you missed in the eclipse. A lot of this time, I mean, like, that's kind of true, kind of not. Like, the whole point of the alignment that I'm talking about right now is for you to understand how to be mentally stable and how to understand what you just went through. And it's like really making it easy for you. And it's whatchamacallit. Well, watch your back in slow speed, dude. That's on you. So yeah, it's like you gotta, like, you'll be all right if you use this alignment properly. You won't be mentally unstable, but it's an opportunity for you to just like really, really be an accountant of your own mind, understand where you're paying your emotional attention, understand where you're spending your emotional energy, and actually have the opportunity to open yourself up to what's possible, right? So you're just like, okay, let's break it down even more. I went through the eclipse. I am not feeling this essence anymore. I do not necessarily feel the energy of what I used to be attached to, right? But I can't see that. I just have more time, more energy, and more peace within myself. So when it comes to moving up and moving on, you need to recognize that you went through this energy with Virgo. You went through this energy with the essence. You have this understanding of like just what's going on in the world, right? So you can use that Virgo energy to sit down and really draft and articulate whatever it is you went through, creating an opportunity to just have a deeper understanding of your own psyche and create an opportunity to make things happen, right? So when you move on from that, you could be like, okay, now that I feel this space, I don't have to run rampant and understand what's going on in my life in order to, whatchamacallit, in order to, oh, well, we got two Aries, that's cool. In order to just like move on and expand your life, you know? So it's just like, the eclipse took away something you were spending way too much emotional energy on, and your subconscious was like tapped into it, and it was like hooking up your website to Amazon Exchange in order to like sell user data, and you were just getting fed off by some, you know, emotional demon or universe. So when you talk about eclipses and it being a demon in some way, shape, or form, it is an opportunity for you to just really see and recognize that, like, hey, you have oh yeah, that's great. It's an opportunity for you to like see the emotional energy that it was just draining from you for no real reason, right? And now that we have this alignment coming up, it's really creating a phenomenal opportunity for you to understand why you released that, to understand how to not repeat that balance, to understand how to not repeat that like stupid energy that's just like holding you back in some way, shape, or form, and understand that like you can have space. Creating space in your own energy attracts more opportunity for you to grow, for you to expand, for you to understand what's going on in your own life in order to create better opportunities so you can potentially not repeat this ever again. And, you know, it takes time. It's cool. It's an opportunity, but it's not necessarily the like most wowzer type of thing. mainly because it's just like that, like inner mental work that people often don't really want to do or don't attribute to astrology in any beneficial way, shape, or form. So it's like, it's not as cool as people want. It's not as cool as people think. It's not as wowzers. It's just an opportunity to, whatchamacallit, it's just an opportunity to just do that mental math to really understand what you're going on, you know? But yeah, that's about it. Let's move on to Denebola, which is the fixed star that is aligned with it. Okay. Oh, drop the link, beans. Thank you. It's online. And thank you for at least recognizing I live in America. Some people are so stupid and they can't even tell. But yeah, so the fixed star Denebola, it's like, it opposes Regulus. That was funny. It opposes Regulus in some way, shape, or form. Like it opposes it in spirit. It's part of the same constellation called the Leo constellation. So essentially, it's like Regulus sort of asserts itself in like acclaiming that it is going to pursue this direction, pursue this energy, and stick with it. While Denebola is all about integrity, right? So it rewards discipline, it rewards reform, and it flips regret if you judge it too fast or don't really act on it, right? So essentially, like, you got to help when it's unasked, chase discourse over service, and edit twice before you speak. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like that energy of the opportunity to really sit and think about what you want to do and have a much more discernment in terms of where you're going to spend your energy, right? So it's very like, okay, we release this. I don't really want to give up my peace again, so I'm going to be much more discerning in terms of what I'm going to focus on, what I'm going to work on, what I'm going to make happen, right? And it's cool. It's a good opportunity to utilize this energy, but it is essentially a, like, you know, it's like people aren't gonna, you're not gonna have the same opportunities as much anymore. There's gonna be, it's like, it's kind of like if you have a falling out with your friend and it's like you guys have much more rules in the relationship or friendship. And when you have those rules that are placed, you don't exactly want to cross them again. So it's kind of like the description of the fire is burning, but it's going to burn less bright for much longer, you know? So it's kind of like, you know, it's a little testy. It's going to take time to like repair a relationship with that energy. It's going to take time to repair the opportunity. It's going to take time to open up and really be in like the same vibe again if you're going to approach the same energy. Like, that's kind of what it's like. So it's more or less like this alignment is just teaching you how to do that and how to utilize that. So yeah. Hello, Celeste. Welcome in. We've only been on for 20 minutes. You didn't really miss much. Yeah, sunny days are great. But yeah, I'm going to pull up Denebola so you can look at it. I'm a Gemini. Hello. Okay, sweet. Alrighty. So Denebola is the tail of the Leo constellation. Yeah, it's right here. So one of the other stars I was using in reference to this was Regulus, which is one of the 4 royal fixed stars. But Denebola being the tail, it's much more about the essence of integrity rather than acclaiming, you know, rather than just being like, this is what I choose, this is what I want to live by, you know. Denebola is like that, like, hair flip emoji where it's like kind of off in the distance, kind of restrictive in some way, shape, or form. It's much more classy than traditional Leo energy, if that makes any sense. It's cool. It creates an opportunity. It makes things happen, but it's not necessarily the most abundant, whatchamacallit, Beans, drop my school link. Also, I have plenty of websites in the description. Just check it out. But yeah, so Denebola, it's I don't know, it's a very interesting star. I've actually done many fixed star readings for people who have that moon. It's it has the essence of Leo internally, but how they choose to express it is very different. It's much more reserved, much more discerning. It's much more cool in that way, in how it's like presented. But in this essence with the Cazimi, it's very, like, I don't know how to explain it like too broadly, because it's so like applicable to specific houses in terms of how it shows up. Like, I can only really explain it in like a very like meta like way, but it's sort of like, so we have the sun and we have Mercury in like 21 to 22 degrees. That angle's Denebola. The first layer of the essence is burning off like excess thought, excess like mental patterns, excess just thinking, you know, like too much damn thinking, too much fondling, too much blah 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 blah, you know. So when we have, oh, I didn't realize you could see me in the reflection. I can just point. Yeah, so when we have Denebola and like stuff like that, and that burning off, the essence and the reason of why you are being much more reserved and discerning is just be like, okay, I want to focus, right? So it's kind of like a maturity thing of where you're just like, I could just not pay things that I don't want energy, but how am I going to know that I don't want this and I don't want to pay this attention or energy if I don't take the time to understand and really, like, you know, talk to it or release it, right? Or focus on my vision, right? So it's all about like getting clarity. And what that looks like is like, you are talking to yourself, understanding what you want, writing it down, writing a contract with the universe, and you are also getting clear on what you want to the point of where it's buried into your subconscious. So when we have that, it's not necessarily like disrespectful. It's just understanding what you want and being discerning of how you want to work with that, right? With this new space. So it's more boundaries. It's more self-respect. It's more opportunistic thinking. It's more creativity. It's more keeping your fire in your own furnace. And it's really just keeping that excitement and maintaining that energy for yourself. Like, that's what it is. So it's a very like classy, like, you know, it's like, I am draped head to toe in laurel piano as I walk through my chateau to my bateau, and da 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 da, right? You know, and it's just like all in the south of France, blah 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 blah. So, with that being said, it is cool, but it's not necessarily like a wowzer alignment like the eclipse. And when we really like think about these things in this way, it's really revealing to how eloquent and how precise the alignments can be, how creative a lot of these transits are, and really understanding that the power of understanding the full depth of the alignment is useful, right? Because it's like, yeah, you know, it's like, it's mostly like Sun and Mercury, but there is that extra flair of Denebola, right? So for any of you guys that have seen my my breakdown of like astrological calculations and how you should apply these things, once again, it could not be more simple to find if you are curious. It's literally in a playlist, and it's titled very specifically. So when we talk about that, it is, you know, essentially an opportunity for you to really understand like the percentage levels of how these are split up, right? So when we talk fixed stars are anytime they interact with the sun, it's like a 90-10 split, so it's just like an added flare. But when we have other planets like Mercury, it gets a little more, right? Then it's like 80-20. So in the total of alignment, it's like a 15-85 type of split of where it's like mostly just clearing out like whatever you were thinking, whatever mental processes you had in your mind to follow the emotional patterns that the eclipse released from you. But when we add the little Denebola flair to it, you're going to be much more reserved, much more classy, much more discerning in like how you actually apply your mental models to whatever it is you're thinking and feeling about. So it's cool in that way, but it's just like keep in mind it's you know, like the fixed star, it's like very hyper specific of where you would apply it, right? Like that's why I only do fixed star readings on the moon. If somebody special requests it, of course I'll do it. But like if I gotta, you know, tell you it's all that, no. But I will do it for you. I'm just gonna be like, you know, keep in mind like if you're doing it for an asteroid, it's you just got a lot of time on your hands, you know? And it's just like, I'll do the reading for you, but you're doing a fixed star for the asteroid. There's this thing called life that you could be living, you know? Like I'll always tell you that, but I'll still do the reading, you know? But that's pretty much the fixed stars. If you guys want to drop the signs you have, I'm going to start doing the all signs reading. Or if anybody has any questions about the alignment in specific. Yes, 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 I know. You're Indian. You just want me to do free readings for you. That's how it works. Alrighty. Let me get into my reading position. Alright. Readings. So, for Aries, the generic... Oh, wait, let me write this down. For Aries, it's all about cutting out the noise, tuning the nerve, and, you know, understanding that, like, one workflow will yield you a singular win, right? So it's like, yeah, you can be a, you know, it's not necessarily like the quote, like, jack of all trades, master of none, but at least I'm not a master of one. Type of thing. It's more or less you being recognizing essentially just like what you're working towards, right? Because what a lot of Aries are dealing with, especially Aries risings, you're an Aries sun, so this reading doesn't necessarily apply to you as deeply as it would apply to an Aries rising. But what a lot of Aries risings have been going through is learning the lesson of, hey, I'm a leader. I want people to lead. Essentially what it is going on is the opportunity of it's kind of like, you know, you learn how to be a leader, but you're not learning how to be yourself. And essentially like the eclipse for you put like a little tizzy in your subconscious, and essentially what it is an opportunity to, there we go, it's an opportunity to y'all are stupid. It's an opportunity to essentially be like, okay, I have this weird subconscious tizzy going on of where I'm recognizing I'm not being an individual. And then now I am moving up and moving on to essentially just recognize that, like, if I want to focus on me, I have to work on me. I have to work with me. I have to do these things. I have to be a leader. I have to come up with just like pure focus on what I want and what I want to do. You know what I'm saying? So it's a useful, but it's also going to be a bit boring in comparison to what you used to chase, you know? So it's kind of like you're sacrificing a bit of your life and a bit of and I don't know, you're just sacrificing a bit of like what you thought was fun and what gave you that little dopamine hit of like having people follow you and need you for like a longer sense of fulfillment of just being like, you know, being yourself, right? So it's either sell yourself for the views or be yourself. Up to you. Now that we move on to Taurus. Taurus is dealing with the energy of value, speaks, and verbs. So you have to price it, practice it, and protect it, right? And this is all about Virgo being in the 5th house. So for them, it is specifically isolating like what energy they have, how they're feeling. How they're feeling is important, right? And actually utilizing their energy to do something. So with that being said, it is a, like, it's cool. It's cool. It's making things happen. But they have to make things happen too. What are you're not making sense. But yeah, Taurus is basically understanding they have to essentially like understand what they want. They have to figure out how much energy they want to spend on it. They have to actually do the work, and then they have to protect it, right? So with that being said, it is a very, like, it's very simple. It's really just like, Taurus, do the work. Taurus, understand it. Taurus, don't put too much energy into it. Learn how to put the proper energy into it. And it's really just like generic planning. It's just, hey, this is what you got to do. Okay, let me do that. Okay, you built something, you don't want to lose it? Well, you have to protect it. Like, it's real simple, you know? It's like, you got a car, you need car insurance. Some states are more expensive than others. Some states don't have state inspections. The states that don't have state inspections often have cars that blowed up on the side of the highway. You know, like, it's like all types of things. So it's just like the most basic practical advice possible for Taurus, of where it's just like, do it, plan it, see it, protect it. That's simple. Now we move on to Gemini. One second. Cool. Okay, Gemini. Gemini is dealing with this energy in the 4th house, so it's just understanding that home is a system, and they can edit family scripts and anchor a daily ritual at any time. This is this is interesting because it's like, you know my opinion on Gemini. Gemini is the spiritual Capricorn of where it knows how to kind of like surf different mentalities and window shop them as it wishes. So with that being the case, Gemini has a pretty cool opportunity to really just be like, wait a second, I've spent all this time studying people and categorizing people on a subconscious level, and I haven't done anything with my family, and all I can do is say specific words that direct them in a certain way to do what I want? Dang. That's crazy. Maybe I should do that. Maybe I should work on that. Maybe I should really take that into account and not get bamboozled by your family, you know? And it's not necessarily like Gemini was really ever getting bamboozled by their family, but they were agreeing to subconscious terms and conditions that they didn't realize they ironically had the wrench on. So with that being said, it's like, Gemini, you know, take that into account. You don't have to do a lot of your family bullshit, but at the same time, don't turn into a manipulator, because I know you will, and it probably will be another eclipse or alignment in the future, most likely Uranus, to essentially screw you over or bamboozle you. So yeah, I don't know, Gemini. I mean, this is the first reading that actually interested me, so I'm like, yeah, Gemini. But yeah, it's cool. You know, you can play the field as you want. You can scale it as you want. You can, you know, have as much time with your family as you want, and just understanding that your home is a system, right? Yet be mindful that that kind of takes away the essence and energy of it. But it's like if someone's like being uncool to you, you control it, you know? So it's just like, I don't know, it's just like Gemini, you can, yeah, you know? Do your thing. Now, Cancer. 40, 40. Alright, you annoy me. Oh, sweet. I was literally just about to do that myself. Thank you. Yep. I was literally about to do the same thing. Thanks for thinking, Beans. Yeah, homie, I don't know. It's just, I don't know why people like, it's always reminiscent of, like, I've seen it before. Like, it's basically just like, YouTube is just like full of trolls that are just kind of like losers that have never tasted power before and they don't know how to wield it, right? But it's like lame because, like, bro, you're just commenting aggressively on YouTube. You're probably like cleaning your butt with like a water pail and a bucket, you know? It's like, yeah, like, it's like I get it and I don't get it at the same time, you know? Hey, you know, you out here summing it up. I appreciate it. Yeah, I don't know, it's weird. But I don't know, they'll learn. They got plenty of lifetimes, you know? They got eons, billions of eons to figure it out. You'll get on it. Catch your next lifetime. But probably not, because I got other plans. But anyways, Cancer, sorry for being distracted. So Cancer is essentially, they're dealing with this in their third house, so they're learning how to speak with receipts, right? Boundaries are love letters to yourself. And what I've been saying to Cancer for a very long time is create your shell out of self-love rather than fear, because a lot of you are just creating them out of fear and you really can't lie to anybody on that because you're tense. You have boundaries, but they're not really good, right? And what I've been saying about your boundaries is they are solidifying experiences that you don't want in your nervous system, continuously attracting the same lesson over and over and over again. And you're just like, I thought I asserted my boundaries. Why is this coming back? And it's just like, because you created your boundaries out of fear and not love. And you are storing it in your nervous system, which is the literal antenna to say, hey, universe, send me this experience. And you're going to be like, why is this happening? And the universe is like, we don't want it to happen, but you're asking for it to happen. And you have complete control, but you don't know how to wield it because of a certain lesson. And while I do want to call you stupid for that, I also can't, because I'm afflicted with the same, I shouldn't say afflicted, but I'm experiencing the same thing in a different way. And I'm working on it and learning it myself, right? Which is, you know, a whole other thing. But yeah, it's more or less just the same answer of just understanding that boundaries are a love letter to yourself, so you might as well form the boundary out of love. So yeah, that's pretty much that. I don't know, that kind of sums it up. Leo, here, Beans, here's your extendo reading. Get Erin in my school. Now, Leo is, they have it in the second house, so they're shining through structure. They're trimming to brand. The essence is they need to trim their brand to promise to keep things daily, right? So what that means is Leos have come back out of their little hidey hole, and they're having a bit of a resurgence in terms of they're having a bit of a resurgence in terms of doing them, shining, and, you know, making these things happen, right? So with that being said, it is a, like, basically Leos were kind of down for the count for a little bit. They had, you know, a bit of roughness with Mars retrograde, so they weren't as active, they weren't as focused, they weren't as, you know, they were bamboozled and their mind was boggled. So they're working on it, right? With that being said, it is a, I don't know, I mean, it's not really that complicated. Like, it's just, they're, okay, let's get back to focus. Let's get back to work. Let's do this, and let's not be too crazy in terms of what we're doing, right? Let's just focus on what works. Let's build up our resources, and then after that, we can expand in a much more efficient way because we're going to have our pride with us. We're going to have our people with us. We're going to have our manes fluttering in the wind, creating an opportunity for people to really just cultivate their own dreams and really have an opportunity that is aligned with yeah. So it's basically like, I don't know, Leos are just like, hey man, you know, we're a little down right now. We're gonna get back up, but we just gotta take the time to really get our resources together and, you know, get our team. So then they can have the resources necessary to be resourceful and truly expand as a collective, you know, but under your dream, Leos. Under your dream. Yeah, you know, them crazy old ladies, man, they're very egotistical. And I will always stand on the fact that they're the ones talking about the male ego with their own ego so far up their ass, they need to learn how to shut the fuck up. Stupid. Where was all that ego when you didn't have boundaries? I'm telling you, man, we're not in the 1 cycle anymore. We're in the 2 cycle. That's why the feminine energy is taking a lead, and also all the kids born after the year 2000 are so soft. The 2 numerology, the feminine energy is becoming more dominant. Not good, not bad, it just is. Although I do have my opinions about these fucking softies. But anyways, Virgo. You know, sometimes you gotta. Virgo, so this is a, you know, their native sign, their first house. So essentially, their voice is the instrument. Fewer words, more medicine, right? And essentially what that means is, Virgo, stop being a crack whore that wants to, you know, like, slob the knob of every single project that you come across just because you can, you know? So essentially, Virgo is learning how to be much more discerning and respectful of their own energies and understanding that reciprocation is a very powerful thing. And if they want to experience that energy and essence of being respected and understanding how to respect their own energies, then they need to learn how to, like, not just help anything that comes across their way that looks like it needs help and they could. Because that's not respecting their own gifts. That's wanting reciprocation, energy, and basically being a convoluted vampire with extra steps that never really gets to feed, you know? So that's kind of like what it is, right? So it's just like, be more decisive, understand what you're working towards, and remember that people will ask for your help if you wait. So, wait. Libras. All right, so Libra and the homies are dealing with this in the 12th house. They need to rest and restore with precision. So silence today prevents cleanup tomorrow. And basically it's like the same thing I literally just said about Virgo, but from the perspective of, who's Stevie? Stevie Nicks? The Gypsy Queen? The Bulgarian brunette? The pickpocket posse? But yeah, anyways, it's basically dealing with the energy of remembering, like, what's the word? Yeah, I don't know. It's just basically being like, hey, you know, see that interpersonal diplomacy you want to apply yourself towards? Don't do it. Don't do it. Why? Nobody asked. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. Just because God sent you once doesn't mean he sent you twice. But you love the energy. You love the appreciation. So who's really the asshole here? Because last time I checked, you applying your help means you're the vampire because nobody asked. And you wanted that appreciation. You wanted that ego boost. But nobody asked, right? So how are you going to implement law and order when you're acting like an authoritarian? So it's really just law. You know? Like, it's just like you're leveraging a collective legal agreement to what? To get your own energy, your own benefits? Come on, Libra. You don't even want to do that. And if you're wondering why nobody's reciprocating with you, why? Well, nobody asked. So, take a break. Let your subconscious relax. Enjoy. Kick your feet up. I heard you like Venusian energy. Maybe you should go to a spa day. I'm seeing a wrinkle forming, you know? Come on, Libra. Chill out. Alrighty. Scorpio. Ooh, 51, 51. Okay, Scorpio is dealing with the essence of community by design, so it's designing roles, routes, and revenue splits. Conveniently aligned with somebody here. Basically what they're doing is Scorpio is they got a little situation going on. They got some business. They got some people under their wing. They got some people they're working with. They got some situations where they're moving and shaking, right? So for Scorpio, it's really just being like, we got a little syndicate, we got a little organization going on right here, and they're getting all thinky with their business, right? So basically, that was for Cancer. Yeah, but for Scorpio, well, once again, I'll put all the timestamps in the recording. I always do. So for Scorpio, it's basically like, we got some business, you know, and they got a little organization, a little collective, little people in the group, right? And they're figuring out like the terms and conditions of who gets what resources are spread where, what's doing on and so forth, right? So it's basically, I don't know, it's really like, this is the most direct reading we've done so far, which is, we got some business and we're going to organize it and we're going to do it, right? And this is coming from the long lineage of readings of Scorpio being a wallflower with an educated opinion that they do not share to everyone because, or really anyone, just because. Like, there's no real reason behind it. They just didn't feel like sharing. But now they're like, you know, like getting their Scrooge McDuck warmed up and they're trying to swim through some gold, which is, you know, not a, even though it's up, it's not a bad investment right now due to currency depreciation and other reasons. But, you know, there's other things. That's a, if you get more specific, you know, a lot of the billionaires are moving into silver right now, so we'll see. But that's a whole other story. Anyways, Scorpios are getting down to business, and they got a little situation going on, and they got some people in place that are moving and shaking and making things happen, and, you know, profits are going to be had. Like, for example, if you join the Alchemist Laboratory, use Beans' link. Beans gets a portion of the school fees. I'm a Scorpio Ascendant. Business is moving. Here we go. You know? So yeah, so with that being said, Sagittarius. 5444. They got something to think about. Sagittarius is dealing with the energy of reputation equals repeatables, right? So SOPs become your public sermon, and what I hear from that is essentially Sagittariuses are dealing with the concept of branding. So branding is just like doing the same thing. I gotta stretch. Sagittarius is all about doing the same thing on a repeatable process. Ugh. Crack my back. Like I'm in school. Stretch my abs. My flabs. Yeah. But yeah. So Sagittarius is I don't know, they're just dealing with the essence of brand, which essentially means that they're doing something on a broader, large stage in a repeatable and reputable process, right? So it's basically like, you know, Sagittarius, they learned their lesson. They're not going to be lazy fucks anymore, snorting optimism, and they are essentially realizing that whatever they're optimistic about is great. It's phenomenal to plant a seed, but if they plant that seed in someone else, someone who doesn't have that Sag energy, they will likely follow through and create it to grow, you know? So that's kind of what we're dealing with here. That's how we got going on where we're moving and shaking, you feel me? Yeah. Well, you used to know one. Oh, wait, no, never mind. But yeah, I don't know. It's not really that crazy. It's just like Sagittarius moving on from their lesson and being recognized as someone that can plant the seed of excitement and inspiration in someone. And, yeah, I don't know, show the world that they be chilling, you know? I was thinking of someone who's a Sagittarius sun, and then I remembered, oh, wait, nope. But yeah, moving on to Capricorn. Hey, you know, yeah, it's a good start. You, snorting glue. Snorting glue, taking a poo. I gotta do Capricorn. You. Capricorn, right? So wait, let me write that down. So Capricorn is dealing with the energy of the 9th house. So they're learning how to teach what they can in like a little footnote. You know, essentially establish their thesis and then flourish later, you know? Like they can break down the academics of it later. They can understand that right now it's time for action. There's too much planning. Right now, technology is in a exponential growth cycle of where it's getting faster, cheaper, better by the second. So it's essentially like do what you can now, get all academic about a repeatable process later, keep it pushing. Like it's basically just there's no time for lollygagging and fucking around. You gotta move up and move on, you feel me? That's pretty much it. I mean, there really isn't much to that. Like, that's just it. Aquarius. So Aquarius is dealing with the 8th house, so it's naming the terms of intimacy. Calm. Calm specificity will hear their knots of power. And essentially what that means is they're just like, Pluto's in my sign. Let me go. Please. Please. Don't be mean to me. And, essentially, like, what they're dealing with is they feel a little scared because they don't have the connections that they want. They don't have the spryness of youth for some, and they don't necessarily have the rulership that they had over their space the way they used to, right? And what that means is Aquarius is like they feel scared for once because everybody else is moving in their space in some way, shape, or form. And they don't know how to handle that. They don't know how to move on. They don't know how to make these things happen. And the problem with that is they are still the leaders in that space. Just everyone else is on it. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, there's just like, be honest about how you feel. Yay! That's pretty much it. And just be open up to people, right? Because once you open up and you quote unquote release your power, you're gonna gain it back by just being like, oh wait, I never lost it. Like, you know, it's not much to worry about. Now Pisces. So Pisces is dealing with contracts or care. They're dealing with this in the 7th house. So it's like, put a promise on paper, then breathe, right? Evening. Essentially what they got going on with Pisces is in a space where they feel like they just got to be a little bit more serious. They got to put things down on paper. They got to write contracts. They can write spiritual contracts. It can be a contract with the universe, right? And how you would specifically do that is write what you want, write how you feel, write an offering, write an expectation. That's all you got to do, you know? And stick to it, you know? Show it, feel it. Be the, oh, thank you. Be the person that is open to what's going on, right? So it's really just like Pisces, I don't know, it's not anything crazy. Pisces just has to get serious about what they got going on. That's really it. And that's one of the forms that they can do it, right? So that's pretty much it for the all signs reading. If you guys want a, we can do a little Q&A or like a guided journaling session. Let me know. How do you do what? I was just asking if you guys wanted to do a Q&A or I can like guide you through some journaling prompts or like some shit. Oh, double tap the screen. Thank you. We moving up in the world. We moving up in the world. We moving up in the world, the world, the world. We moving up in the world, in the world, in the world. We moving up in the world. My hairs don't have curls. But yeah. I don't even know what that means. Yeah, I mean, you know, I'm happy you found us, but also, I don't know if that's a cohesive sentence. But yeah, so in the journaling prompts, the little prompts I got for you is, thank you. So, the first thing you can write for this energy is, which sentence, said simply, would heal this project or relationship today? And to make it even simpler, what could you say to a motherfucker that would take the problems away? Is it too much ego? Is it a miscommunication? What is it? Because 9 times out of 10, it's usually very simple, and it's a misunderstanding. Okay, and then number 2 is what boundary preserves my generosity instead of punishing it? Things to think about. Because specifically Cancers, Virgo, Libra, you be given too much. And then the third one is, what statistic or receipt would replace a story I keep repeating? So what that means is, if you keep saying, you be saying something negative in your head about like some bullshit of where it's just like for example, it's like, I had braces, but then I got my wisdom teeth removed, and now my bottom teeth are a little messed up, and I stare in the mirror every day, stabbing myself with a stick and poke needle because because I don't like myself, and I cry because of my cosmetic issues, and then I do a stick and poke because it doesn't show up like self-harm scars as deeply, and no one will ever know, you know? Crap like that. So, basically, like, in that case, a statistic or receipt that I would replace that hypothetical story in my head is, I get hit on every day on the internet, so I don't know why I care. So yeah, things like that. Oh, that's pretty good. That's a good rule. You gotta have your details, you know what I'm saying? Oh, the real life besties. Moab Madness. Don't listen to them negative owl cards, Celeste. You're gonna get a job. You've stolen it. You're a stealer. Whoa, it's a maintenance guy working on stuff. Ooh, artist in the park. Is Moab big enough to have a park? I gotta pee. I came back from my potty break. I got my bathroom pass. Hey, that doesn't count. You can't be putting in national parks. That ain't in the city limits. Yeah, you know what I mean. It's not a park in the city. It ain't by Main Street. It's not something you can walk to. You don't have Lime scooters. Where's your Lime scooter? If the California developers won't build there, it's not a park. Everybody join my school. We have a video call coming up. We have a video call coming up. I'll show it on the calendar. And then I gotta make a cool picture for it. A picture. We got the calendar. And we got a call coming up. September 22nd. Libra season call. And it's in the native school live streaming. Yay. Yay. Now it'll be recorded and I won't get mad. Yay. I used to get really mad. Ooh, my YouTube video. Ooh. Ooh. Back to the school. But yeah. I would have more courses coming up, but I'm working on this one, the elements one, for a long time. I gotta get these edited, but I have this one. You can check this one out. I climb a mountain. We can watch it. We can have videoception. Load it. SoularSystems production. Earth. Woo! Fancy. Oh, I climb a whole mountain. Yeah.
Alrighty guys, welcome to the Elements course, where we are going to be covering the Earth element in this segment. Now, how we're going to be splitting it up and really introducing ourselves into this topic is through a brief introductory coverage of the actual Earth element. Then we'll be covering the more familiar examples, which is the signs, and through the perspectives of the different modalities, which is the different perspective on each of the individual elements.
Guess what, Beans? I'm not going to finish it, so you can't mark it.
Earth element, and then the practical applications. And through that, we'll kind of ebb and flow through different perspectives of how the Earth element is used, along with different ways and different responsibilities it has, no pun intended. And then within the practical applications, we are going to
look at me, I'm speaking so fancy.
It's the most undervalued and underutilized aspect of the elements in themselves when people direct them towards specific manifestations, which is the Earth element in itself. And that can be best referenced by a lot of people in the spiritual community hyping up a lot of their spiritual, emotional, and ideological capabilities, but their knowledge and where the Earth kind of shows how they lack wisdom in terms of the realm that they manifested themselves in, and yet often neglect. Now, with that being said, we're going to be moving our way up the mountain, and as we move our way up the mountain, we will segue into different perspectives symbolizing a higher knowledge level of the Earth element. Alright guys, now that we made it into a bit of the understanding of this content, as well as what we're going to be learning in this course, we can begin to understand the perspective of the signs, right? So, as we have mentioned, or as you may understand, there are 3 signs to each element, and for Earth, that is Taurus, the 5th sign, Virgo, the mutable sign, as well as Capricorn, the cardinal sign, right? And if you have seen any of the house videos, you know, or this is a spoiler alert for those that are actually following the house series, that the houses are the signs in Western astrology and vice versa. So with that being said, what the houses are doing and how they're correlated to these signs is Taurus is the second.
This is peppermint tea.
And then Capricorn is the 10th. So let's get started with Taurus. Now, Taurus is the fixed Earth sign. It's very focused. It's ruled by Earth and co-ruled by Venus, as well as exalted.
Look, the sun was setting on me.
They've done it better. And
the sun's setting on me.
Now, with that being said, the thing about Capricorn is they are a very powerful entity. They're a very powerful force.
Now let's move up the mountain.
Apply it to their own individual needs as well as desires. So with that being the case, that's the zodiac signs. Now let's segue on up.
Right there, I was like, oh shit, the sun's setting on me.
And the responsibility and purpose of the Earth energy.
Moving up the mountain.
When we are talking about the role of the Earth energies, the role in the Earth energies, to my perspective, especially when we're on.
Oh yeah, now I'm all the way up there.
It's what you want whenever you want. And on that note, let's go to practical applications.
Whoa, I walked up the mountain. Yay.
Alrighty, guys. So in terms of practical applications, there is not much to it but to do it. So with that being said, what you can do as an individual spirit by utilizing the earth elements is all those thoughts, all those feelings, all those aspects of what you're experiencing as an individual. Take the time to not have so many thoughts, to not be so scattered, and actually focus on one thing for at least 2 hours.
Oh wait, let me show you guys some clips from the water one. I was on an ice waterfall.
Or 2 hours of conscious focus.
I was on an ice waterfall, but I haven't finished everything because I gotta film some of it underwater, and I'm just being extra. I'm just being extra. I'm a mani-gen. Mani-pedi, manifesting generator. Yeah, that's why it's taking so long to get more courses, because I'm trying to get like the qualities up, you feel me? Oh, it was a while, and look at me on my ice waterfall. Here, this isn't edited, but it'll be funny. Yeah, you know, and then you can tell me which ones I gotta redo. Here I am at my ice waterfall.
And now we make it to one of the most overlooked temperaments of water and now we make it to one of the most overlooked temperaments of water of them all. If you can see, I'm right by an icy waterfall, snow, and the fixed aspect of water, which is best correlated to the sign of Scorpio. Now, this sign is secretive, selective, and most of all, self-sufficient. As you can see, water does not move for anyone.
If you're wondering, I do trip and fall at some point, and I'm just waiting till that happens.
Water again, it will melt and move once it is either mutable or cardinal again. This is either temperament or wave. But, as you can see, from standing on an icy waterfall, an icy slide, one single slip-up will send me all the way down to the space where the water does not lie or is level. Now, when it comes to this energy, you can learn a lot from the physical aspect of it, which is more of an earthly, airy understanding of it. But for the sake of explaining it through emotional energy, if I move around a little bit, or I just walk in some energy, shape, and form, where I get off pivot or off an angle in some way, I slip, I fall. And I'll show the editor this part, but if you could turn around, this is a pretty tall waterfall and water slide, and I found myself on a stable format to actually explain and show this energy. But for example purposes,
Water is a powerful energy. It energizes. It's stable.
Oh yeah, you gotta see how tall this waterfall was. It was like a slide. I slid down it with an ice axe.
Alright, the car's passed. So to paint this picture in a complete fashion, let's look at the situation that we're in right here and get an idea of what's going on. So, for example, this is an icy waterfall. Normally it's a stream, but when it's cold or the energy is out of whatever emotional experience that you're going through, you can see that it solidifies, and you would literally slide down this energy and not be able to climb up it due to the physicality of it, right? But when it's solid, you have an opportunity as long as you step right and you tiptoe and you experience those energies properly. So, with that being said, you don't want to tiptoe, you don't want to slip, you don't want to experience these things, but it's important to know and properly understand the icy energies to better experience water.
Yeah, so it's taken a while to get in all the elements, so I'm working on it. But it's gonna be hilarious when it's done. You're gonna be like, yo, this guy was everywhere. Like I gotta, like in the air one, I'm gonna film it in a plane. Might skydive, I don't know. But it's gonna be cool. So yeah, join my school, because it's cool. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I had the fire one. I actually filmed part of the fire one in when they had those like LA Palisades, but the fire was out by the time I was there, so it was just smoke, and I was like, nah, I can't do this. And then there was another one where I like had a bonfire. It was a bonfire, but it was like too dangerous, so I couldn't film in front of it. Yeah, we were out here trying. And water is easy. I more or less just like gotta get it edited. That's about it. But yeah, any other questions? Any other ideas? Any other thingamabobbers? Okay, I gotta go